Hi friends, and welcome to my channel, Tech, Planners, and Plot Twists, starting fresh in my 50s. My name is Rachel, and I'm a middle-aged creator. And today I'm going to show you something that I think is going to be my project for the summer, and something I think you need to do this summer too. So I love junk journals. And you probably have seen, I have one that I have already started and I've done a lot of work on. And it is for more of my writing, so it's kind of antique and spooky. This one I am going to use basically as a memory keeper. So I bought this book. I had to buy it because it was so very cool. So I bought this book. It was $1 at the Dollar Tree. I'm sure a lot of people would use it for its original purpose, which it's the geometry of pasta. So it's actually a cookbook. But check out the graphics in this thing. So it's a hardback book, and I bought it a long time ago thinking, I've got to be able to use it. So that is what I plan on doing. It is a full, like a full-size book. And so I won't be able to keep all of the pages because, when you do a junk journal, you have to kind of take some pieces out. But I thought I'm going to show you kind of how I make up a junk journal. And this junk journal is one with a purpose. It's also going to be my memory keeper. So I'm going to add pictures. I'm going to add ephemera. I'm going to add tickets and, all different things. And we also have a trip coming up. It's going to be this summer. We are going to Boston. And so I also have plans for how I'm going to journal about my trip in this junk journal. But let me show you kind of what are some of the things that we're going to use. It has a flyleaf, which is fantastic. Still very, very cool. So I will keep the flyleaf. Generally, if you're a junk journal person, you keep every little bit because you're likely to be able to use it for something. So I'll probably end up cutting it apart and using that. With most of my junk journals, I like to use the original covers. So this is not an old book, it is a book I assume is still in print. And as I said, it's a kind of a cookbook, but it's supposed to have some additional information in it about pasta. But I will use not only just the book, but I will also use most of the pages or a good number of the pages. And I will also use the spine. A lot of people, when you do junk journaling, they will take a book like this and they'll cut right here and right here and take out the whole body of the book. So all you're left with is just the cover and nothing inside. And as you can see, these pages are all sewn together, which is really what you want when you do an altered book. So what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to keep a lot of the pages, but then as I did with my other ones, I'm going to also go through and I'm going to remove some of the pages so we have some room for it to grow, because I'm going to be adding a lot of ephemera, a lot of other papers, a lot of layering. So I need to have this thinned out so that the end result is not incredibly fat. And now it still may be, a little chunky and it may end up expanding some, but I don't want to break the spine. So I want to keep that. I don't know what else I'm going to do with the cover. I could do some embellishments, but it is very cool as it is. So I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to do. But I'll show you kind of what I do usually. I'll keep the inside pages. A lot of times, if they're just plain, I would cover them. Because this is already decorated, I will probably leave this and maybe add a little bit of decor, but it's not going to be like I usually would put like a piece of scrapbook paper over the whole thing. I like to keep this first page. This one, as you can see, is attached. So I will also keep this page. Probably what I'll do is I'll use this as a title page. And then I'll probably keep this page I can use for kind of an index to put some information about what I'm planning on using this for. And then this will be the start of my actual journal. Now, I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to start it, but I do think I'd like to have a calendar. So I'm thinking I might do a monthly spread starting with May. Now, May is mostly over. So because, I just have a couple of weeks, I want to have May documented, or at least part of May documented, but it won't take up a whole lot of space. But that will be something that I can put at the beginning. So I'll probably do a monthly spread for May. Further on, I will add one for June, July, and probably August. But I won't be putting those in early. And that is how I'm going to I'll show you again how I'm going to time these out. But this is kind of how I do my junk journals right now. So because we're in May, I can put May in here. I can document the different dates, holidays, birthdays, things like that. I'll put that in there with my May monthly. And then probably starting around here, I will start removing pages. So I will take a sharp blade and I'll come through here and I will cut out a page at a time. So generally, I mean, I'm not really precious with these. So I just kind of go through, and with something like this, I cut it out. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. Now this one, I can tell it's tied right here. So these two pages are one. So probably I'm going to lose both of them when I do this, but that's okay. So I'll take this page, and because this one is connected, it pops right out. What I will do is I will continue to take several pages out. See, these were connected as well. So that must be how they're connected for their signature. So you can see there are the threads. So that was one small signature. So probably what I will do is this will end up being the beginning. So like I said, I probably will do, some kind of monthly here. And then this will probably end up being some kind of pocket or something, so that that is covered. So what I'll do is generally I go through, I count about 5 pages in, and there's just kind of randomly, I cut out pages. My main goal here is to keep the book intact as much as I can, so that I can still use some of the structure of the book. Now let's see if it loosened up anything. No, that one didn't. Okay. I'll take this one. And I will tell you, if you're going to do it this way, you see all of this jagged stuff in here. I know you're probably like thinking that's a nightmare. And it would be if it was going to stay visible, but it will not. So I'll explain really quick what I'm going to do. That was not a good cut. So I think this pattern on this is really cool. So all of these pages that I'm pulling out will be used for something. Either they will be used in this junk journal, or they'll be used in a different junk journal. You know how we go with junk journal people, we keep everything. Now I've had this book for a little while, so you can tell I was testing out some watercolor paints on there. But probably what I will do here is I will probably then make a pocket. Let's see, I'll probably take this one. I want, what you have to make sure is when you do a pocket, that you choose a page that you don't mind to cover up the inside of. So for example, I'm going to take this one out. Okay, so what I can do is I can make my pocket here. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to, keep, I kind of like the alphabet here. So what I might do is I might make a shallow pocket. So what I can do is, and I will do a little bit more exacting, but I can take this, I can cut this flap off, okay? And then when I glue it, I can glue it together, and then that is what the pocket will look like. So once I glue it, I glue only here and here, and sometimes I do a little bit at the bottom, just right here and here. But now I have room so that I can take any of my little notes or something, and they would fit in that pocket. Now, obviously, you know, I'd use a smaller piece, but so what I usually do is I will go through the whole book, and I will use paper clips, and I will clip the pockets so that I have an idea of what my pages are going to look like. That way I have an idea of how much space I have to work with. I may only do or plan out like half of the book at first, but I usually do some of that prep time. So I'm going to do a little bit of that, and then I'm going to come back and show you. Okay, so now that I've done some prepping, let me show you what it looks like. As I said, I've kept several pages. So I went ahead and I put this one together. So there's one of our little pockets. But then I weeded out several other pages. I have here, I took out some pages in between, and I'm going to glue this one down here and here, and that will be a pocket that goes from the top. So that will be a front loading pocket, top loading pocket. For this one, I'm going to take this. I really like this type of pasta, and I think it's cute too. So I'm going to keep this little folded part. I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm just going to glue down here and down here for another one of those half-page pockets. And then in a lot of these places, you can see I did tear out some, but it really doesn't show too badly. This one I cut in half, and I was thinking about folding it over this way, but I don't like the look of that nearly as much as this. So I will probably put my tape down here and at the bottom, so it's another half-page pocket. And then I think most of the rest of these, I just pulled out different pages, being careful, you know, that in each signature, I'm not loosening up the whole signature. So each of these little sections of the book is called a signature, if you're not familiar with that term. So I went through about half of the book. So this book has a total of 288 pages. So I have gone through and weeded out. So I'm at 154. So I will have some more to get rid of. But from the spine, you can see more of the gaps where we're at. So you can see where I've taken out some chunks of pages. So I will continue for the rest of the book to do that as I go along. So once I finish that, I will start at the beginning. And like I said, it will be like a memory journal. But let me show you what my plans are for my ephemera. So as I said, I'm planning on going on a trip. And I always kind of collect things when I go out. So like if I go to a restaurant or something, I always pick up bits and pieces of things. This was from a worksheet that I was using with some of my students, and I liked it, so I fussy cut that. That's going to go somewhere in there. And then, of course, all of these pages that I cut out of the book, they will either go in there or they'll go in a different book. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this out, and I'm going to use it to help me organize. So right now, it is just your standard 3-ring binder. I like the kind that folds over because I think it provides more protection for the spine. And I have done a lot of using the A5 binder systems. I've used a lot of those. But for this, what I'm going to use is to keep some of my storage just for my memory keeping. And I'm going to take this with me when I go on my vacation. So this just happened to have a front page. It has a few little blank pages. What I thought I would do is I can hold on to these and I can journal on them and then put embellishments on them just to kind of keep up with some notes for the days. I have one that had a weekly planner. I thought I could use that. Just date it for the time that I'm gone for my trip, which will be about a week. And then the rest of this is just blank. But it does have lots of nice pockets that I can put things in. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I got some page protectors. I got a couple different kinds. These are like a full page protector. And this is more to hold little bits and bobs that I've picked up. So this will be for business cards, receipts, candy wrappers, anything that I might want to add in. I'm going to keep one of these, and I'm going to have one, I think, per day for my vacation. But then I'll probably add in, some other ones so that if I have a busy day, I'll have enough. I also got this kind. It opens at the top, and I've used these before. So this can hold things as well. And what I have done before when I went on vacation, and I did this when I went to Florida a couple of years ago, is I filled up these pockets pretty full. And but I had each day the ephemera from that day. So, if we were in Florida and we went to a shop, and then we went to a bookstore, and then we went to a restaurant, I might have, all the little receipts and things from that day, and I'll keep it in one pocket. So I have a couple different of those type pockets that I really liked. And then it also came with these. These are nice because they also have a closure. So you have one here at the top, and then at the bottom, this one got folded wrong. But then you can have a pouch for both things, and your stuff isn't going to fall out and slide. I'm going to get one that's, and then here is another one. It has a pouch on the bottom, and then it has two smaller ones on the top. So that will be able to hold some things. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to use my different page protectors. I think the other one is like this, so it goes this way. So you can put things in that way or that way. And then I had some full-size blank ones. They're a little bit different in size. They're the clear plastic, but I really won't be using them, so it won't matter that they don't look the same. But these, as you can see, they're much bigger. But this would be good, like, if I had a bigger piece that I wanted to keep, like a map or something for when we go on our vacation. So I have a whole bunch of these that I'm planning on putting in here. And then I'm going to make up a little travel bag of just some of the necessities. I can't bring my trusty giant tape dispenser, so I'm going to bring a smaller tape dispenser that I picked up. And I'll show you what this looks like. Hopefully these will work well. But they came like 5 in a container, and they're just like a little tape dispenser. So I thought these might work well. And they're cute, but I don't know if there's a refill. It would be nice if there was a refill, because that's such a nice little container that they're in. Anyway, so I will be bringing some tape with me, and I will be bringing a few pieces of ephemera. And this is basically, these parts are for my trip. So we are going to Boston, but one of the places that we're going to go is Salem. And I'm not a huge, witchy person, but I do like all that are spooky and everything. So what I did is I went through and looked at a lot of my spooky stickers and things. And I found a whole bunch of ones that I've collected for years. that I think would be appropriate for going to Salem. So if I have like different brochures and receipts and things from Salem, these will match. So I went through and I just found some things that I thought would go with the theme. So I will definitely have a spread of a page or 2 or 3 or 4 for when we go on our trip to Salem. So I kind of made up one of these little envelopes just for that trip. So it has all of my spooky things all in one place, because the whole book is not going to be, spooky. It's going to be the whole summer, but I have these pieces that will go. So I will take some pieces and some stickers, some samples of washi tape. I use a lot of these little cards, and I'll take those and I can keep those with me, but I won't be taking the full book. I'm not planning on taking the whole junk journal itself, because I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do a whole lot. I think I'm going to be lucky if I can get them in the little pocket and get them curated per day and have some little notes. I really don't think I'm going to be able to do a whole lot of actual junk journaling, but I want to be prepared just so I have some things. So I'm going to keep all of those things in here, as well as, like I said, a few of my additional stickers and scrap paper, things like that, that will all eventually be emptied out and put into my junk journal. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to pack a little travel bag to go with me that will have my tape in it and a few other little things. So I will do that probably in one of my next videos, so you all get to see that. That will be just something to have my supplies that I can go on the airplane with, and then I can just carry around the house or wherever else I go. So this is like part 1 of my summer junk journal, and it's my junk journal with a purpose for memory planning. And I hope you all find this interesting, because I think this is going to be a lot of fun for me to do this summer. We are, like I said, going to Boston. If you all have any suggestions on where we really need to go, I'm really anxious to hear, because we have a few ideas of where we want to go, but I don't want to miss anything. So you all can let me know. It was great talking with you. If you're interested in any of this kind of material, if you like to talk about junk journals, planning, all of that kind of thing, please subscribe and leave me a little comment in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for hanging out with me for this video. Talk to you later. Bye.